What's going on, Jerome's? So a lot of action is going around the National Football League. So we're doing up a Wednesday NFL news dump for the happening that's going around in the league. That happened yesterday and overnight. Who knows what's going to happen today? Probably more craziness. Extend to Neil one time. But here's your Wednesday morning NFL news dump. Well, you're probably taking a dump, by the way. I mean, let's be honest here. First up, the headliner was Justin Herbert was just paid to be the highest paid player in NFL history. 5-year extension, $262.5 million, 150. Try that again. $185 million guaranteed, as well as a no trade clause. And Justin Herbert is a rising star. For my money, he is up there with Jumpin' Joe Burrow. Not quite to Mahomes yet, but he is a young superstar in this league, and I think that he's going to be phenomenal for the Chargers for many, many seasons. And also what's interesting, so Jalen Hurts got paid, highest paid player in NFL history for like 2 seconds, and Lamar Jackson got paid, highest paid player in NFL history for like 90 days. And then Justin Herbert got his, and now Jumpin' Joe Burrow is going to get extended, and he'll probably be the highest paid player in NFL history, but you never know because the Chargers are very cheap. Now, I do love and respect Justin Herbert. The only thing I have against him is that he was not the 2020 Pepsi NFL offensive rookie of the year. He just wasn't. We know who was. Justin freaking Jefferson, but it's okay. Also, Travon Diggs got himself some coin as well. This is from ESPN NFL. Breaking, the Cowboys and star cornerback Trevon Diggs are finalizing a 5-year extension worth $97 million. That includes a signing bonus of $21.25 million. A source told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler on Tuesday. And Trevon Diggs, he comes away with interceptions. He gambles, he rambles, all that stuff. He does get beat for yardage from time to time, but it certainly happens. And he is one of the better young corners in the league. And the Cowboys, Jerry Jones loves the long-term extensions. Like Tyron Smith and his 10-year deal. Just insanity, man. But Trevon gets himself some financial security. You do love to see that. Then, so Saquon signed a revised 1-year deal worth up to $11 million, slightly more than his franchise tag. That happened on Tuesday. And then it came out that the Miami Dolphins reportedly tried to trade for Saquon early on in the offseason. Now, this is before the draft, before they drafted Devin Kane, the speedster out of Texas A&M in the 3rd round. But also, it was before the dalliances with Dalvin Cook, potentially in a trade and now in free agency. But I mean, that would have been super interesting, where apparently the Giants had no interest at all of rescinding the tag and then dealing Saquon. But, I mean, imagine Saquon in that Dolphins offense with Mike McDaniel pulling the strings, and then you got Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the outside. That'd be pretty good, man. That'd be pretty fantastic. Something that is the opposite of fantastic. So Aaron Rodgers, after his trade to the New York Jets, they redid his contract, a little bit of revision, and he's going to get paid. So Bleacher Report, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have agreed to a revised contract that smooths out a salary of $1.165 million in 2023 and $107.55 million in 2024 per Pro Football Talk. Now, his minuscule league minimum base salary is why the Jets have had so much room to maneuver in free agency because of salary cap issues, but $107 million just like thwack on the table next year. That's gonna be hard for accounting. Now, void years obviously going to be added, and they'll find a way to actually smooth this out with the cap. But they're just trying to give Rodgers every reason possible to come back for a second season. They don't want to be a one and done. And for me as a Vikings fan who does not want Rodgers to follow the Brett Favre trajectory, where 1 year in with the Jets and then coming to the Vikings, thank you for that. I thank you, because I think Rodgers is washed, and we're like the only people on planet Earth who is willing to call a spade a spade. Like he's done. Someone who's not done. Well, someone who's done show up to training camp for a while. Nick Bosa, Ari Meroff. 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa is not expected to be at training camp as the two sides continue to work on a record-setting contract extension. They don't expect him to be on the field until that contract is done. And, the top end of the edge rusher market, talk about TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, is north of $25 million per season. And the Niners have had some premium contracts out there. You look at Hargraves, look at George Kittle, etc. So, look at Trump Williams. So it's gonna be a little bit tough. It's gonna be a little bit snug. They paid Debo. They may have to pay Brandon Ayuk as well. So we'll see what happens with Bosa. Maybe he gets dealt. I don't know, man. I don't know. Then Ooh. So, quarterback season 1 on Netflix was a hit. Of course, Kirk Cousins starring, as well as cameos from Patrick Mahomes, and then also Marcus Mariota was there. But apparently, season 2 is on. As from Dov Kleeman. Peyton Manning said a couple of quarterbacks passed when asked to be on the Netflix quarterback show last season. Now, a lot of quarterbacks around the NFL want to be on it in season 2. The question remains, who will it be? Peyton, look, we are all set to move forward with season 2 of this series quarterback, and we have a lot of quarterbacks that want to do it because now they realize, hey, if I do this, I'm going to win the Super Bowl and be the MVP of the league. Right? Mahomes has shown that. Manning said in a news release. And so, if they're going to go by the same script where they have the best quarterback in the league and then Patrick Mahomes and then Mariota, I would go Baker Mayfield as this year's Mariota, just like former number 1 overall pick, just hanging on by a string in Tampa Bay. That would be that would make a lot of sense. Also, I'm not convinced Baker's going to be terrible. Like, I've thought about this a lot, where he's got Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer. He's got Chris Godwin, who, when healthy, is really good. I mean, maybe they get something going. Who knows? But in the Mahomes role, I would go after either Burrow or Herbert, even though I think Herbert would be really boring. Not him as a talent, but just a boring player. I don't know, maybe Jalen Hurts, maybe Lamar Jackson. Sure. And as for the Kirkish role, I don't know, Jared Goff, Dak, even though Cousins is obviously above Jared Goff and Dak. Maybe Derek Carr in New Orleans. I don't know, man. I don't know. Either way, really glad that season 2 is going to be rolling along. Go from there. And also, quarterback who's not going to be on season 2 is Justin Fields. So apparently, they approached him, but he declined. And the whole talk about it's like just having cameras around the building. I think that might change the vibe for everyone. Not particularly. It really doesn't. I mean, every team has their own in-house entertainment network for the most part, so there's cameras around all the time. And if you look at the way that it was shot, it wasn't necessarily like other teammates and coaches, they wouldn't recognize that it's any different than just their team or NFL films or other cameras around. Like it wouldn't be that invasive. Frankly, I think it's kind of a cop-out, and maybe he's worried about this season because, I mean, season 3 is really big for Justin Fields. But also, if the documentary was called Running Back, maybe he'd be in. I don't know, man. NFL Top 100 keeps rolling along. So 91 through 100 was in. Harrison Smith in 97. No Vikings in the 80s, but it went from 81 on back. Christian Wilkins, Dolphins defensive tackle, formerly at Clemson. Love him. Then Dolphin. Tua, Terran Armstead. I mean, Tua gets respect if he can stay healthy. I think Tua was extremely dialed in last year. Absolutely love him. Terran Armstead is one of the better left tackles in the game. Zadarius Smith. No. Zadarius, when he's healthy, when he's dialed in, can absolutely do it. Still can, man. Laramie Tunsil, still doing the damn thing. Got himself paid. That's right. But, again, one of the best left tackles in the game. Justin Fields, I don't know. I understand this is voted on by the players. I think this is insane that he's on this list. I think it's insane that he's above a true quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. And what's interesting is that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields have been compared against each other in college, in the draft, in high school, probably Pop Warner. I don't know, man. Then you got Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, low-key one of the better guards in the league. Hutchinson might be a little bit too high. Like, he had a nice splash rookie year, but is he top 100 yet? Marshawn Lattimore, he's top 100, but he's not facing Justin Jefferson. We know that. And then Nuke, this is just name recognition, whatever. DeAndre Hopkins is not a top 100 player in the league at this point. Then 2 more. So we got Brock Purdy. So there was concern after he had that UCL injury in the NFC title game against the Eagles, and then the Niners had to try and go to the Super Bowl with Josh Johnson. It's good times. But Brock Purdy, is from Ari Merov. Brock Purdy has been cleared for the start of training camp. It will have no restrictions except for the way he plays. After undergoing offseason elbow surgery, he won't start on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. Purdy beat the timeline he was given and is ready to go. And it's good to see. And also, Purdy was pretty good in the Shanahan offense last year, although I do think the Shanahan offense is kind of more paint by numbers. I think it is a very a quarterback-friendly scheme. Purdy wasn't asked to do too much. And respect to him, he found the open receiver. He took what the defenses give him. He played with inside. He played within the offense, and maybe he can develop a better chemistry with George Kittle. Not that my fantasy team is bitter or anything, but I think the Niners, with that defense and also with them on the ground with McCaffrey as well as Debo, I think that they are legit. I think they absolutely are legit, potentially even better than the Eagles if Purdy is 100% and still playing that same game. Well, people say game manager like it's a bad thing. It isn't necessarily bad with the Niners, but we'll see if he can actually expand. But also, I guess he has to win the job. I mean, Darnold and Trey Lance are there, so we'll see what happens. But, I mean, there was talk about him potentially having to miss the season this year, so it's good to see him back. And then lastly, speaking of good to see, so Harrison Smith had himself a press conference. Kirk Cousins also had a presser too, and apparently, Kirk talked about Harrison Smith's cheese, like weird cheese fetish. So someone asked him, "Hey Harrison, is Kirk's claim true that you put shredded cheese on a plate, put it in the microwave, and then just eat it like that?" Harrison responded, "Shredded or block, typically cheddar, hot sauce optional." So Harrison likes cheese. And, Harrison is from an ethnic background that digests dairy. So I'm very, very, very jealous of him in that regard. But also, this could also be Harrison being a low-key viral marketing genius of him. Is like, hey, F the Packers. I eat melted Packers for breakfast or something like that, man. Either way, cheese. Harrison gets it. But that's it. That's the NFL news dump for Wednesday morning, July 26, 2023. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, SCO production value.